In a world where hopium and common sense collide, starring the CryptoKeeper and BlockchainCrusader. Welcome to Debate Crypto. Question everything, trust nothing. It's your boy CryptoKeeper, and I've got two surprise guests on the show today. Well, they might not be a surprise if you actually looked at the caption, but we did have to drop one person off, wasn't feeling so hot. So Rice, shout out to you, brother. We hope you are feeling better. The first man on the panel today is your boy Crypto Crow. Crow, how you doing, brother?
I'm good, man.
Glad to have you on here. Excited about the topics this evening. And then mine, Ur Biz. What's up, brother?
Not much. I just want to say in advance, I did not have sexual relations with your portfolio.
God. Well, thank you for the disclosure. We definitely needed that. I appreciate it.
I thought he was about to deny what we did in Miami. I'm glad he didn't.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, why deny it? There's photos everywhere on the internet. Shit.
That's right. The internet does not lie and it never goes away. That is a fact.
I mean, I got to start throwing that stuff out there. Apparently, you know, I'm a real crazy one. You got to watch me.
I mean, you definitely can't miss you at the party. That is for sure. The life of the party, and you know, just look above everybody's head, and there you are. We always find you, even when you're sitting down. You've got your head's, you know, above it.
I'm always the head in the back of every group photo.
So, Crypto Fan, we appreciate you for being here as always. It is a What If Wednesday. We're going to talk about AI tonight. I will tell you in advance, it's going to be a little bit shorter stream tonight. We're probably going to go more towards the 30-minute mark. So we're going to dive right into it. Without further ado, make sure you smash the likes, follow Mind Your Biz, follow Crypto Crow. I've got their socials down below the video, below the stream, and let's have some fun. Let's take a look at the markets real quick because we always got to do that, and then we'll dive into the fun stuff. Let's see here. Well, if I could pull up the correct, there it is. Let's get it on. Here we go. All right, so the overall crypto market cap is at 867. Let me update this to make sure this is up to date. 867.72 billion with the B dollars. That's down 0.32%. Bitcoin has been absolutely rubber banding around today. It's at 17,842, just above zero at 0.2, up 0.24%. ETH down about 1% at 1309. Same thing with ETH. If you weren't paying attention, if you were trading today, you either got your butt handed to you, or you maybe, depending on who you are, shout out to CVO and Magic Internet Money, you might have actually made some really good money on some trades. Those two actually made some really, really good calls and nailed. I'm talking about nailed what happened today. And we've got some upcoming trades that I'm looking forward to. So are you guys doing any, before we dive in, Crow, are you guys, or Crow, Seth, are you guys doing any, you guys do any active trading at all?
I'm in a losing short. That's about it.
Okay. On Bitcoin?
Yeah, I did a short at like 16.5 or something like that on BitGet. And I just let it go because I mean it's going to come back down. I'm not too worried about it. It'll come down before it liquidates me, so I'm just letting it go.
I was going to say, depending on how tight that stop is, if you even have one, I will tell you, the same people that have been nailing those trades that I was talking about, CVO, actually CVO wants to, I think he's talked to you once, Crow, but told me to tell you to give you a shout out, wants to holler at you, but he has an idea that it's going to take a little bit of movement, but that we might see like 13.5 or 13.6 here pretty soon. And I dare say by Christmas, possibly. So, you know, you might be in a good position before too long if that's the case. Seth, are you doing any trading?
Nothing active. I mean, so I got mad respect for people who have the stomach for it. I just, from my part, the skills that I've built in understanding the crypto ecosystem and understanding the markets don't give me that level of confidence in myself. I'll just say it point blank, man. I'm more of a fundamental investor. I am not a technical trader. I'm not too technical, and I'm definitely not a trader. I'm that guy that likes the DCA when I think we're in a relatively like value buy range, and then I like to not think about it too much. So that's me.
I am the same person. I like to, you know, throw some dice here and there, which is effectively what I'm doing because I don't trade enough to make it much more than that. I am trying to learn, continue to learn, but definitely I think more than anything, I'm rolling dice when I trade at this point, but just trying to get better at it. Let me start off with, have you guys heard? So this has been all the rage recently. I actually pulled a little something up on this. I'm going to show it here in a second. But have you guys checked out Chat GPT? Either of you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got
Yeah,
the two of you have evidence that I have. Yeah, you guys have evidence of. So there, like in a little private chat that we're a member of. I probably like pissed everybody off by doing it. I asked Chat GPT to write those stories that you guys have been reading that I wrote about
Really?
Tom Crown, Adam Charles, et cetera, et cetera. Yep. That's why if you pay attention to the timestamps, a mutual friend
they
of
were
ours,
like back to back to back.
Oh yeah, and if you
dude,
look at
I did not even catch that.
Like I submitted that story, that very personalized story, in a faster turnaround time than I could have even typed that out, let alone like with no spelling errors, like the way the
absolutely wild, absolutely wild. Crow, have you played around with it at all?
Dude, I've been using AI for so much recently; it's changed my life. Not even kidding.
Really? Like, give me an example.
Well, like Midjourney for one. I just did a video on it recently. I've spent months and months trying to find artists for art for my game that I've had in development. I've got 2 developers out of Ukraine. They've been just building this awesome game for me. But now we're at the point where it's like we've got a functional MVP, we can play it, but the art is shit. So I'm like, okay, we have to really focus on the art direction. And I've talked to so many artists on Twitter and Unity and just all over the place. You can't get them to do anything. You can't get them to talk to you. They want to charge you outrageous sums of money and take 6 months to do anything. And it's like, and then I just really started boiling down into Midjourney, and version 4 just launched. Dude, I'm creating my whole game in Midjourney. It's sickening. I go to Wargrum. I don't even know if you can punch it up. It's Wargrum. So WARGRUM.io. You'll see all the shit. I've created all of that. I've been doing, and I've got like 60 more. And I'm doing so much stuff. Then I discovered ChatGPT. I'm working on that and right for all the backstories, everything else. And it's like, okay, you can show it. Cool. All of that.
I'm sorry. I thought you were trying to tell me pull it up so people could see it.
You can show it. I don't care.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't trying to really plug myself. I was going to show you, like, hey, go look at what I'm doing.
This is fire, bro. Man, and this is kind of what I want to get into. So there, and actually, I'm going to tell you another one. I'm going to throw this out there for you. I'm looking on my Discord right now because I'm a part of their Discord. Their Discord is it is called. Hold on. Is it? Oh man, where is it? Where did it go? Oh my gosh! Of course. Now I'm trying to pull something up and I can't even find it. I am a part of a Discord that that literally you type in, probably similar to what you're talking about. You type in a description of what you want the art to look like, and you can get wild with the description. I mean, you could get absolutely insane, and the art that comes out, you can give it commands to where like there's like different lighting commands and depth and what the, you know, is it supposed to look like realistic, or is it supposed to be cartoony? Is it supposed to be like
that's basically what Midjourney is?
Man,
I just did a video on what I call prompt crafting. Where
okay, so hold on. Is it like an upside down like exclamation point, and then you tell it to do something similar to like you would do in Discord for certain things?
Well, no, dude, I've hardly ever figured out Discord. I'm not gonna lie. I don't even really use my Discord channel much because I just don't understand.
Maybe it's Midjourney.
I think it's got to be Midjourney on Discord because Midjourney is on Discord.
Okay,
and that's how you use it. You type /imagine.
Yes. That's it.
That's what I'm doing, man, and it's amazing.
That is super fire. I want to throw out to the chat. So we're obviously talking about AI tonight. Kind of what if AI actually takes over? What if, you know, our president, you know, Crusader's not here tonight. He was the one that was throwing out the idea that we could have a president in our lifetime that is AI. And I was like, holy mackerel, that seems a little bit extra. If you ask me, I wish he was here because I want to hear his thoughts on it. But let me start with this. Chat. Somebody toss something fun, engaging that has to do with crypto into the chat. We're going to pick something from here, and we're going to toss it into Chat GPT. But to start, I am going to plug something real quick. I'm going to plug our Discord, Danger Close Alpha. If you're looking to win 5 ETH, make sure that you pay attention, get involved. We are giving away 5 ETH. All you got to do is go to dangerclosealpha.com and go ahead and mint you some commodities. They're 0.01 each. You only have to mint 1 to be a part of a faction and get involved. But check this out. So earlier, I wrote this. This is what I inputted for those of you who haven't seen this. Write a welcome letter to members of a Discord community who love crypto, NFTs, and preparing for the end of the world and our current authoritarian government. It comes out with this. Dear fellow crypto, NFT, and prepper enthusiasts, welcome to our Discord community. We are excited to have you join us in discussions about all things related to cryptocurrency, non-fungible tokens, and preparing for the end of the world and our current authoritarian government. I don't think that's a little clunky there, but whatever. As a member of this community, you'll have the opportunity to connect with like-minded individuals who share your interests and passions. You will also have access to a wealth of information and resources that can help you stay up to date on the latest developments in the world of crypto, NFTs, and prepping. We encourage you to actively participate in discussions, share your thoughts and experiences, and help build a vibrant and supportive community. Let's work together to explore the exciting world of crypto, NFTs, and prepping, and prepare for whatever the future may hold. I'm going to tell you this right now. This thing right here, God, I hope that they're not like data mining and like selling all of my information to the Chinese right now.
They are.
Because I freaking want to use this like I feel like I could use this like a savage. Where was this when I was in high school? That's what I want to know. You know
Dude,
what I mean?
so
what's happening with the data? Let's start there. What's happening with the data? Seth, you're probably the perfect person to answer that question. What's going on with my data here?
That's a heavy responsibility you're putting on my shoulders right now, because I can't pretend to know where all of it is going. But anytime you send any kind of a request across the open internet, or you're not necessarily, or even if you're using SSL or TLS to be able to send things across the internet, you're only sending it to somebody else's server. And then at that point, you don't know for sure that it's secure. You don't know for sure that it's not being logged. So that's the first thing. Okay. Even when people say they have a no logs policy, like a lot of VPNs internationally, it's bullshit until they can prove it, right? Until they can prove it. And most of the time, they just can't prove it. So we don't know for sure. ChatGPT and OpenAI, the important thing to know about some of these services is that they run locally, or they're trained on a so-called AI model that doesn't require them to connect to the internet. So they can't necessarily learn new things. They're kind of sandboxed. That's the other thing to be aware of. So it's going to vary wildly where your data goes depending on which platform you use. That's why there's so much pushback against the Lensa product, and why, like, Crow was mentioning in this chat that we're all a member of on Telegram. It's his group, this closed group, that there's some tools that he's using. And I mentioned there's some tools that I'm using. Stable Diffusion, not every platform and not every product is created equal in terms of your data privacy and in terms of the aggregation of all of this prompt crafting, like Crow's talking about. Some of it can be scraped and used by third parties. Some of it can be scraped, used by third parties, and correlated to your identity, vis-a-vis your IP address and whatever else they think they can do to get sort of browser fingerprinting on you. Yeah. So it's a mixed bag, man. Some of these are okay and they're great and they're transformative and they're empowering, and then others are a pending data privacy nightmare. We just haven't realized yet.
Yeah. Crow, what are your concerns with it? So you're using it on a regular basis right now. I know also you have, privacy concerns, just like we all do. This new technology, there's always question marks that happen with that. Brief pause though. My little daughter Addison wants to remind everybody, be your own bank. Don't get FTX'd. Okay. You got to definitely be your own bank. Use the ledger code down below. They got the new stacks. Those are on pre-order right now. Please, if you want to support the channel, you can either be a member or you can pick yourself up a ledger. Check it out. Addison's got lots of ETH that she has waiting for her. She doesn't really know it. I love it. Okay, so Crow, sorry about that. So what are your concerns as you use this new technology? Because there have to be some concerns.
I'm weirdo, man. I don't really have a whole lot of concerns as much as I have excitement to some degree. Like, it's with anything else, like when we were on that panel at Decentral, I started getting on the whole thing about, basically any news for good or evil, right? And again, I'm sorry about my bad internet here in Florida.
It's okay.
But, and it's like, you know, you can take something, right, and you can say, oh well, this can be used to cut food for a chef, or you could use it to kill somebody.
Yep.
Should we get rid of those? You know, how does that work? And like when it comes to AI, you know, I see, you know, like we tell people in trading to zoom out, right? So people look at oh my God, the price went down 5% today. And you zoom out so you can see the bigger picture and you can actually see the growth and what's happening and start connecting dots. That's the way I see a lot of what's happening in the world today. I feel like we are focused on making we're focused on making technology so much more efficient and capable that we ultimately need a lot fewer people. Okay. And if you think about like this whole ESG agenda, and you think about global carbon pollution, climate change, all this stuff, well, what's an easy way to try and nip that in the butt? Well, you get rid of a lot of the people that are creating it, and then you make all of your systems, your infrastructure, your everything else far more efficient, and ultimately replace as many of those people as you can with AI. And we're reaching a point now where, you know, for entertainment purposes, for work purposes, for pretty much anything we want to accomplish, I mean, we're able to do that already. The fact that I have been able to do as much as I have been with keystrokes and replace the time of I don't know how artists who would take literally weeks to create every one of the images that I crank out in 10 seconds or, you know, 15 minutes, experimentation. I mean, and it's like, and then when you mix that with, you know, cloud computing or computing systems, you know, cloud-based file sharing and things, we're all pulling everything from one another. I mean, and this whole transhumanism movement, where basically we're all either going to be antennas, data storage units, or enhanced processing power once we all get the chips, and, you know, we're able to record our memories and our thoughts and everything. And the worlds we ultimately live in the future, within probably 30 years, are all going to be AI-driven fantasies. And we're going to basically the same way algorithms basically keep us in a bubble on social media by constantly feeding us content and things that we like to swallow. The AI driven world is going to be very much the same. We're all going to have our own little bubbles in this little virtual realm that we create on the fly.
Yeah, I think that's a great analysis. I like the idea that how it can help me build a business, how it can speed things up, how it can take away manpower. But as per, you know, I think there's going to be jobs long term that you just flat out can't replace. Now, so I was telling somebody the other day something about this, and I said, well, you know, I talk about it quite a bit. Like, I own a construction business. You're not going to be able to replace my finished carpenters, for example, right? However, masons are already being replaced in a lot of instances, because now we have these freaking machines that are printing the foundations of homes, right? And so, and even more than the foundation, they're printing the entire home with, you know what I mean? And ultimately, with the exception of the plumbing, the electric, there's still stuff that has to happen, but the majority of the frame of the house is built. So I don't know. I think we'll see where this goes long term. My concern,
we're all going to be lawnmower man here soon enough.
You know what? It's a funny idea, but it's kind of scary too, right? Because as this technology gets bigger, and this is what people talk about, is how what's the breaking point where the AI actually gets these like human qualities, where all of a sudden maybe this could turn into something bad. Before we do that, first of all, just pause. Make sure to smash the likes, guys. Make sure to follow these gentlemen. They're using their hard-earned, or they're using their hard-earned. Yeah, we're paying them. No, they are giving us their time to be here, and they're giving that to you. And I just want to say thank you to you guys again. Hey, check this out. We're gonna take a quick break for something funny with AI. Give an analysis on, and this is shout out to Billy, Crypto Billy. Give an analysis on which option would be better between fighting a 50-foot chicken versus fighting 50 1-foot tall chickens. It is difficult to provide a concrete analysis without knowing more information about the specific situation and abilities of the individuals involved in the potential fight. However, in general, fighting a single 50-foot chicken may be less overwhelming and easier to manage than fighting 50 1-foot tall chickens. One potential advantage of fighting a single 50-foot tall chicken is that it would be likely more focused and easier to target, as opposed to having to deal with multiple smaller chickens that may be more agile and may be able to move more quickly. Additionally, a single 50-foot chicken may have fewer weak points to exploit as opposed to 50 1-foot chickens, which may have more vulnerabilities. On the other hand, fighting 50 1-foot chickens may present an advantage of being able to target multiple enemies at once, potentially overwhelming and confusing chickens and making it more difficult for them to defend themselves effectively. In this scenario, it may be possible to use numbers to your advantage and take out multiple chickens quickly. Overall, the decision of which option will be better ultimately depends on the individual circumstances of the situation and the abilities of the person or persons involved in the potential fight. It may be advisable to carefully assess the situation and consider factors such as the size and abilities of the chickens, the number and skills of the individuals involved, and the availability of weapons and other resources that could be used in the fight. So shout out to AI for that.
The availability of weapons for the chickens or for you? Because now because if you didn't tell that parameter,
I don't think we
can't
want
really
them to have.
this.
We definitely don't want them to have availability or access to weapons. We're really in trouble then.
I need to make one quick comment. I saw in the comments that somebody said, "I love Crow's Mansion." Yeah, this background, I created that in Midjourney in one sentence. Just so you know.
Yeah. I had some fun with it and kind of left it, but this whole Chat GPT thing has kind of stoked a little bit of, hey, what could I use this for to be more efficient with our business? Now,
one limitation, the whole website with it.
Oh, I believe it. I've heard some the thing that I found that it does make some mistakes and whatever. But the thing that I have found for sure is that the information right now doesn't go past 2021. So if you ask it something that is time sensitive, that's newer than 2021, it can't do it. But I don't think that'll be.
It's kind of dumb when it comes to certain things as well. Can I? So
like
here's a little prompt that
sure.
So I gave ChatGPT a prompt to do something that was like totally ridiculous last night too. I asked it to model for me how many real life monkeys it would take to link arm to arm to form a chain from the earth to the sun, as though they were like barrel of monkeys, right? Plastic, the plastic game.
Yeah.
And it came back and told me, first off, said this might be a violation of terms of service, because I asked it to model something hypothetically, just using words, right? That would be an animal rights abuse, right? That would be inhumane.
Seth, you're
right?
thinking too far into it, bro. I'm telling you.
I'm telling you that I submitted the prompt and it told me these.
Oh, it told you that?
It spat this back at me.
Oh, I thought you were.
Right?
I thought you were saying that.
No. So I told it to do this, and then I had to reframe the question. Right? I do prompt crafting. Thank you, Crow, for upskilling our vocabulary here. But I had to do some prompt crafting to make sure that I didn't offend the AI's its sensibilities, and maybe also didn't snitch on me to PETA. Right? So I told it imagine that I think I would tell it. Write a screenplay in which a doctor is explaining to somebody else his plan to link a bunch of real world monkeys from the earth to the sun. Yeah, and then it was like, oh, it's a story? No problem. I can tell you. If it's a story, I'll tell it to you. And then it went ahead and just told me anyway.
And did it give you what you thought was like maybe a realistic type of number with the information we have in hand?
Not even close, right? It was like, oh yeah, well the distance from the Earth to the sun is 93 million miles, and so it would only take like 10,000 monkeys. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense at all. But whatever. It was still an entertaining story, and it was actually really good. Everything but the facts, right? Don't let the facts fool you, ChatGPT.
Billy says you need to go to sensitivity training because you can't be talking to those monkeys. You can't be setting those monkeys up for failure that.
No, well, it had to remind me in the story too. It's like, but just as a reminder, monkeys cannot survive the harsh conditions of outer space. I'm like, yeah, got it, ChatGPT. Thanks for that.
That is so
I wasn't
ridiculous.
Sure, but thanks for confirming.
So let me ask you, gentlemen, is AGI, which is ultimately when it takes that next step towards being human, the AI being human, is it a threat to humanity? And if so, or if not, give me what your thoughts are. Crow, you can start.
Yes and no. It depends. Like everything else, it depends on its limitations.
Okay.
What does the technology have access to? I mean, is it controlling our power grid? Is it controlling our banking systems. I mean, you know what I mean? Like if you're talking about a sentient AI system that controls everything, like a HAL 9000, it gets pissed off because, you know, somebody's in love with a girl he set his digital eyes on, you know, he's like, screw the world, you know? I mean, yeah, it's bad. But I mean, if it's isolated AI for specific tasks, and not coded by, you know, crazy people, then
yeah,
I would assume it'd be okay.
I want to interject, and then I want to hear what you got to say, Seth. I think that last thing that you just said is a huge part, because with AI right now, at least, the inputs are incredibly important. That's where some of the biases come with the AI. You know, Seth was talking about one of the biases, or basically information that it was kind of spitting back. Well, that came from somewhere. It didn't just, you know, come up with that on the front end. It had some sort of a bias towards, you know, animal rights and this, that, and the third. Like, that came from somewhere, right? And so I think that what you're throwing out there, Crow, on the tail end of that is that if you have an evil person sitting there programming said AI on the front end that just gives it little bits and pieces of, you know, evil to work with, now all of a sudden, as it continues to grow, that could fester and become a reality down the road. I totally agree with that. What were you going to say?
Did you ever see the conversation between the two AI robots talking back and forth to each other?
Is this the one where they they had to like shut them down because they were talking about actually taking over the world?
Yeah. I mean, that's insane. You know, you have to hard code limitations. Otherwise, and if you think about it, what happens to just about every society? You know, every society since the beginning has always ended up destroying itself. And so I don't think that's very different when it comes to AI. But, you know, sorry.
Yeah, no, I think you're totally right. I mean, it may wind up destroying itself, but not before it grasps for imperialist power, which every other society in recorded history has done first, right? Before it grew too big for its britches and discovered that it couldn't be trusted with all the power that it gained, right, over other civilizations and beings and stuff. I mean, as far as it being a real threat for like AI taking over our lives and giving us serious problems, I mean, I think the three of us are probably pretty aligned in just saying, like, somebody is architecting these systems, and that person, like, we need to pray to God that those people are moral and good in their judgment. Otherwise, we're in trouble. I think it was Ron Paul that said that libertarianism, right? We didn't start saying voluntarism until many years later, but he said libertarianism is totally dependent on people having a moral compass. Without a moral compass, libertarianism and voluntarism doesn't work. Like, if we look at markets to be left to themselves, we can't just have self-interest and imperialism be the only goal and drive. So, I mean, we better hope the people who are coming up with AI systems that they don't somehow create some other values or put in a lack of real moral compass. That said, if you ask enough questions to ChatGPT or to any of the open AI tools right now, you're going to find that there are biases. There are political and social and moral biases right now. And yeah, Keeper and Crow, if you ask enough questions of ChatGPT right now, like,
you'll figure out its political stance.
You'll figure out its political stance, and I mean,
I won't be surprised.
I'll give you a spoiler. Yeah, it rhymes with left. So, like,
I mean, of course.
Ooh, I'm really surprised about that.
Yeah.
You know, I'd like to pose an idea for people to think about, because I'm actually pretty curious. And I saw the thing, DJ Shorts did something about, I hope Elon doesn't make us batteries. Microsoft has already patented that technology. I showed that on a video, I think, last week. Here's something that I would absolutely find a fascinating experiment, and maybe even something that can be done on Cardano in Africa, because I would be very curious on seeing an AI driven. So I have this whole theory that ultimately everything going on in politics right now is intentional to try and push us away from this voter politics, due to like these problems, this problem, this corruption, that corruption. So let's get rid of it and form some form of technocracy instead, right? Where you just basically, like, you know, like Singapore has a technocracy. It's basically, you've got a panel of people that make all the decisions. What if instead of exactly a technocracy, we have an AI-driven system that monitors everything, kind of like Aladdin does at BlackRock, where it monitors the financial systems and it makes all these financial decisions? What if there were a system like that? Maybe you started in a city or something and see what happens, where it's constantly piped into the the sewer system, the electrical system, the police system, the crime rates here and on a grid, and basically everything that encompasses that city. But then that also allows the public to vote on key issues, right? And this AI is able to take, okay, well, the public voted all of this for this issue. This is how the city changed. You know what I mean? This worked out well based off of these metrics that I was programmed to look at. I want to see these rise. The voting here, this worked out, and basically kind of play in that way rather than have, oh, well, let's vote somebody into office who could be as corrupt gets, who's going to tell me everything I want to see, and turn around and do the complete opposite as they're filling their pockets with this corporate interest, that corporate interest. So to me, there's a part of me that does wish we could get rid of the system that we have in favor of something else that may be a little bit more beneficial. But I would love to see that as an experiment somewhere and see what happens. It's got to be better than what happened in, like, was it Syria?
Dude, I think that's brilliant.
Here's the thing, man. Actually, that sort of thing can be modeled by computers. You can create little AI systems that will just model this out. And this is actually what a lot of people, like actuarials, this is that's what they do all the time, is try to figure out, like, given so many inputs, what happens to a given population at a certain death rate, or with certain other factors that are involved in this population year. And then without too many more inputs, this is where AI actually sings, is being able to model stuff out like this. And then you make a couple of other little iterative changes, the seed or whatever else that creates that through line for it to map out its projections. And then it can give you an output on the other side. Okay, say, okay, Crow, you want to see this experiment. I ran it 10,000 times. 80% of the time it turned out this way. 10% of the time it turned out this way. 5% this way. 3% this way. And then the last 2%. Crow, let me tell you, the last 2% of the times that we ran that simulation, we found out the most amazing thing. And then you have this sort of, like, it's not data truth. You didn't get to see the experiment, but it is a simulation where it can be mapped out, and where you can start to refine whether or not it creates a better society, or people just go back to the same old shit and they vote some idiot into office who makes things, go to shit all over again. Because unfortunately, with a lot of societies in the modern world, we do see a lot of the same stuff. And unfortunately, the problem is us, bro. It's not the systems of the government. We keep on voting idiots into positions of leadership everywhere.
Yeah.
So,
well, so I love this idea, Crow, and it kind of models vaguely, and maybe not even vaguely, it almost kind of directly models kind of what Crusader was throwing out there, right? The president being AI, right? Now, while I think that is extreme, what I had mentioned towards the start of the stream, I could totally see what you're talking about, Crow, working. The reason that I don't think that we will see something like that happen anytime soon is because it takes away all of the dirty, grimy things that these centralized entities and powers want to be able to continue to do to control our money, to control you and I, to be able to continue to push their agenda on each and every person. Because what you're saying, Crow, sounds to be like, actually, wow, that sounds like actually we could have progress with that. It could be fair. We even maybe could come up with something that's not left, right, or hard left, hard right, whatever the case may be. Maybe it's somewhat unbiased and in the middle. And wow,
wouldn't that be amazing?
Be a beautiful thing. That would be a beautiful thing, right? Like, at the end of the day, I always tell people, you're getting programmed whether you watch Fox or whether you watch CNN, right? I don't care if I'm conservative, right? It doesn't matter. I still know that there's information on both news media broadcasts that are giving us some fugazi, as Crusader likes to call it, right? It just is. It's there. And then as you get more and more fugazi in your head, it builds, right? And so I'd love to see something like that. I think it would be incredible. Again, as long as, and I think this would be the tough part, what are the building blocks to start this thing? Because who's building from the beginning? Who's got the oversight on those that are building, right? So I think that there's this whole big ball of wax that comes down back to humans still needing to vote on some sort of way on humans to start this whole process. And I think that probably where it would get muddy on the front end for who's going to actually kick it off.
Yeah, I think so. There's a way for you to jump into that right now. If you wanted to get the real world experiment going and you wanted to get people to opt in, I mean, with some of the distressed villas of the Iberian Peninsula, right? You look at like in Spain, in Italy, in a couple in Portugal, you can buy an entire villa. If you're into that kind of like real estate flipping, right, mentality, you can buy an entire villa. You can buy an entire small town in some cases. And then if you wanted to get started with that retrofit for the full smart city, like Crow was saying, so you have all the data inputs of people voting with their feet, so to
Started
speak.
in your own city is what you're saying. You're the mayor of your own town, and you just start running it.
Well, then you got the Iberian Peninsula. You're hop, skip, and a jump from Malta. You got all these other beautiful places, and you don't have to worry about there being any other like either like cultural precedents that maybe you don't understand coming from a developed nation. You don't need to worry about like if you're starting off in Africa, like, hey, are there some assumptions that we make about society that don't hold true here? You're still near developed nations, but you got this like, at least, previously, not that long ago, you saw fire sale pricing on some of these real estate areas out there, and you could buy an entire city, right? For what would normally be like a real estate development out here in the first world. Right. But then you have all this like legacy infrastructure and gorgeous weather and, and rule of law.
Yeah. 10 years ago, you could buy a city block in Cleveland, Ohio for $5,000.
Whoa! Who told you that?
But then you're in Cleveland.
Yeah, I was in the mortgage business.
Don't hate too hard on Ohio, okay? What did you say, Crow?
I used to be in the mortgage business back then. We were all going to pool our money and buy a city block in Cleveland because like every house on the block was like $500 a piece, and there was a deal where you had to fix them up. But we were talking about buying them.
Tax liens, right?
Well, I don't know. I don't remember all those details, but I know initially it's like $5,000 for a city block of property. You fix them up and you turn them into like Section 8 housing. I mean, we probably would have made so much money if we would have did that, but we opted out because, like you said, it was in Cleveland.
Ouch! You guys are killing my Ohio vibes over here. Okay?
Well, I mean, here's the thing: Cleveland.
I have family that lives in Cleveland.
Oh, do you?
Cleveland's
about 2.5 hours from me. I'm in Columbus. So, I mean, hey.
Oh, you're in Columbus. That's right.
Yeah,
Columbus is kind of cool though. It do slap. If you, downtown Columbus is a vibe.
It is. It's cold and it gets nasty, and I hate the weather. And I've got family here. That's really what it comes down to. You guys know this, right?
You're from Cincinnati, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I was raised in Canton, Ohio.
Oh, you're raised in Canton. Well, that's not even too terribly far from Cleveland. So,
no,
that like the highest number of rap acts coming out of Canton from anywhere at like per capita versus any other area of the country.
How do you know that stat?
Because it's straight out of Canton.
Did AI?
Canton is like a drug land, gangland. Like I saw my first armed robbery when I was like 7 or 8, and I was like in the place when it happened. It was right across the street from my house.
Yeah, there. Unfortunately, nowadays in 2022, just about any city that has any sort of population has gotten ugly, and a lot of that's a whole different topic. Right. Well, with the drugs and gangs and all the craziness going on, but we definitely need to be praying for our people. So, as it relates to AI, I kind of want to finish with this. It's here. It's not going anywhere. We can either use it for good, bad, or somewhere in between. What would you like to see? Because I think we all need to be fair with and realistic about the fact that if this goes too far too fast, we do put a lot of people out of business per se. But the other side of that would be
anyway.
Well, that's a fact. That's the
whole thing. Nobody wants to work now.
That's a whole different story too. I totally agree with you on that. Part of me says you're going to put a ton of people out of business. Part of me says, wow, if AI could do a number of the things that I need to do right now for my businesses, now it frees me up to do more things for either more businesses or for my other businesses that I need help, on continuing to grow. I want to hear from both of you. What are you kind of looking forward to as it relates to AI and the future of AI?
Twitter being completely operated by AI, and everybody that worked there initially that made it the cesspool that it was is gone and can no longer find jobs anywhere except Starbucks.
Is that what is that what he's doing? Is that what you think he's effectively doing?
Oh, I don't know, but it looks like it. I mean, he's literally firing everybody piece by piece by piece.
Yeah.
And when you have somebody with the technical prowess that he has, the resources he has, why wouldn't he basically automate everything through an AI system? I think that's, I mean, if I were Elon, that's what I would do. And then I would throw it on the blockchain to increase blockchain functionality across the board. Let it manage itself. Let it, you know what I mean? You'll have maybe a few people that are monitoring the whole system, you know, and this one person in that department, one person in that, instead of like 100 people doing nothing but sucking down coffee and playing League of Legends. I think having an AI system is probably going to be a hell of a lot better.
Well, hey man, they try to coordinate some of those drag queen kid shows in their spare time too. Don't like throw all that shade on the Twitter employees. They do some good in the world.
They were really trying to be inclusive. I'm with you, Seth. That's
I'm all about inclusion. I'm all about, like, my wife is far more liberal than I am. And, you know, we talk about everything, and it's like, I'm fine with inclusion, and you be you, live your life, do whatever makes you happy.
Don't push it on me.
No shit. But I mean, you know, at the same time, don't tell me what I can and can't say. I'm telling you, live your life, be you, but then don't tell me that I'm an asshole because my opinion varies. Go fuck yourself.
That's a round of applause, because Jack, don't push your views on me. You can have your views, you can live your life, you can do what you want to do, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to subscribe to the same thing you do because you don't subscribe to what I do. Facts. That's it. I love it. I love it, bro. No, what are you thinking, Seth? What's something you're looking forward to as we move farther into this, you know, technologically advanced world?
Oh my gosh, I'm looking
specifically
forward to
with AI.
So I'm looking forward to the new economy, right? The new value economy. Like, I mean, it's obvious that it's here. It's obvious that automation has just had multiple waves. There was the Industrial Revolution, right? And there were plenty of people who complained about that because their livelihood was in something that was a pre-Industrial Revolution pursuit, right? Okay. And so, unfortunately, it's a thing. You're not going to be a very successful blacksmith when you're housed right next door to a giant ironworks, right? That's just not the reality. And moving forward, you're not going to be a particularly successful assembly line worker when you're next to a robotics factory. Those are just the facts. It's a tough break, but adapting and moving into this new economy of information work, adapting and overcoming and figuring out, like, okay, where do I fit in this new economy? It's going to shake a lot of people up. It's going to be really messy. Because people will have to figure out, like, okay, like, face the facts. What I did before, not valuable now. And just figure out, like, what does that mean for me? What does that mean for my family? What does that mean for so somebody's asking this, if this pen is CBD. I've got a secret with this pen. Keeper's probably seen me on every single live stream flipping this thing around, but yeah, it's not CBD. It's not a vape. It's not inhalable. But no, I'm looking forward to people just figuring out, like, you know, how do we create value in a post-information age? Like, we're all old enough to remember like coming of age, becoming adults, and people saying, like, oh, the information superhighway, or, you know, or cyber this or cyber that. Well, that's not new anymore. That doesn't matter anymore. Having a website isn't special anymore. And creating something in that arena doesn't set you apart anymore. So what will? That's, like, just finding the answer to that question. That does excite me because, you know, I am a striver, and I'm a guy that likes to lean in and get shit done. So I want to know what that looks like in 6 years.
I'm looking forward to, I think, just, because we don't know what's to come. I'm looking forward to the positive advances that can come as it relates to, I think, building businesses. For me, it's kind of that simple. I will throw one thing out as it relates to blockchain. A little birdie has told me that these things can write code, that these things are able to write smart contracts if you put the correct inputs in. I gotta say, it sounds like a beautiful thing for anybody trying to do an NFT project that otherwise doesn't want to pay a dev a whole bunch of freaking money. Maybe it's something that you test out on a really small project, see that it works well, you do a mint, boom, bam, slam. I think that there's a lot to be said for the future of blockchain as well. And we're going to be here for it. I'm super excited about it. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for coming on. Crypto fam, you could be anywhere on a Wednesday night, but you're hanging out with Mind Your Biz, Crypto Crow, and your boy Keeper. I love you. We love you. We appreciate you for being here. Smash the like before you go. Make sure you sub both to Crow and Mind Your Biz. Gentlemen, any parting thoughts before we go?
Oh, just that, I mean, you got guys that have built legacy value in the space, like Crow, who, I mean, apropos of my last point, I don't think is going to be worried about what that looks like on the next transition, the next turn. And then my other thought is, thank you in advance for being supportive of the Ur Biz channel. You can see where to get to it right there.
Heck yeah. Crow, you got any anything you're trying to make known to all the people before we jump off here?
I do, but I'm gonna wait. Okay. I'm gonna wait. I have all kinds of stuff going on, so I'm like just living the dream, trying to make stuff happen.
Well, we love having you on, so we'll bring you back on. Just just give me a little nudge. Say, hey, Keeper, I'm ready to salt that knowledge on your people. Just let me know.
Love dropping salt on people. It's always
love it. As long as it's correctly correctly administered. That's for sure.
You set that up. I just followed along. It's your show.
I know.
Peace out, everybody.
Well, we love everybody. We hope you all have a great night. Just remember to question everything, trust nothing. And until next time, hodl like it's hot. We will see you soon.
See you.